happening. That's what we need to know. Live stream, still spinning. Looks like it's about to happen. There it is. Okay. All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome. Sorry, still in the Yardstream, still in the yard because, well, it's beautiful out here. So why not? So much going on. Oh my goodness. So, financial wise, we saw GameStop put about 3 million shares in the money on Friday. Expect a little gamma today. Got a little boost up to 27. Good, excellent, perfect start for the week. Outside of that, shit's wild, man. So we have Donald Trump with assassination attempt. The shooter was a 20-year-old young man from nearby, Trumper, very conservative. No one knows what his motive was. If I were to have some guesses, it would be one of three things. He's a groyper, which are essentially the neo-Nazis who think that Trump isn't Nazi enough for them, and so they want to kill him. 2, a boogaloo boy. Boogaloo boys want to start a civil war, and there's been lots of talk and videos and TikToks and stuff about, like, the best way to start a civil war is to kill Trump, and then everyone's going to go nuts. So I don't know why people romanticize that, but yeah. And number 3, and I don't have confirmation of this, but his since removed Instagram account had a bio that essentially read, like, out to destroy Epstein's evil empire. So there's speculation that he is perhaps a victim of child abuse, who knows, and that when the Epstein files came out a couple weeks ago, when Trump was mentioned a lot in them, that he was like, that guy betrayed me, and went to go do what he did. Regardless, he missed, he killed a bystander, injured some other people. Trump's ear got grazed either by a bullet or by shrapnel from something else getting broken. And yeah, all hell's breaking loose on that. On the other side of it, it looks like Ken Griffin is going to fund Trump's campaign. So he just donated like $20 million to the Republicans today, and he's probably going to do a bankroll. Now, the interesting thing is what has come of that is Drama Llama City. Like, we've known from the beginning, from the very core of this entire movement, that Ken Griffin is the bad guy. He's the bad guy. He's the evil market maker who naked shorts with impunity, doesn't give a shit about any of you, and just takes your money and is like, I'm never going to deliver your shares. Now, there seems to be a belief all of a sudden that since Griffin is likely going to bankroll the majority of Trump's campaign in the remaining 4 months, that he's all of a sudden become a good guy, that he's on our side. He is not. Folks are saying he's flipped. No, he hasn't. He is who he's always been the entire time. What has probably changed is that he bought Trump. That's it. That's what Ken Griffin does. Ken Griffin doesn't flip. Ken Griffin bends others to his will. And when you have a malleable narcissist, it's really easy to do. That's what you do. You just either praise him so much that he's like, oh, I must be great. Or you give him what he wants, which is money, right? So that's where we are in that. Ken Griffin is not your friend. Anyone who tells you he's a friend is delusional or lying to you. There's no other way to get around it. Ken Griffin is the enemy of this movement. He has not become a long. Had Citadel become long in GameStop, the price of GameStop would be at $50,000 right now. There's absolutely zero chance Ken Griffin has come over to the side of the apes and is going to help us out. Not a fucking chance in the world, man. Not even a little bit. So, yeah, no. Trump sold out 100% to Ken Griffin. And that's it. Granted, I totally thought Trump was going to pick Nikki Haley, who was Griffin's #1 choice. But he picked JD Vance. JD Vance did get maximum donations from Griffin during his Senate run. It's going to be a weird one because JD Vance was convinced Hitler was, Trump was the next Hitler, and then he had to change his tune real quick, and just be all over Donald Trump's knob to be in his good graces. So you'll probably see a lot of quotes from the text messages he had with his roommates in 2016, being like, Trump's the worst thing in the entire world, we'll never survive this, to today where he's like, he's the best. So it's gonna be pretty interesting to see the next few months. Yes. Do I have anything else in the news to throw out there? I'm sure you guys will cover it. I'm glad GameStop's up 27. If this week is a good week for volatility, my options are currently in the money, so I'm happy about that. I debated about resetting. I probably should reset today at like noon, and then bought back in maybe an hour later. But I did. I was like, I'll keep it. So yeah, I would have probably been able to double the number of options I had, but I didn't pull the trigger. So yeah. So what's again, no intro. So boop. Bling 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 bling, cows jumping or something, and then Houston, no problem. All right, here we go. Let's hit the chat. Let's see what you guys are thinking about. I'm sure there's gonna be some people come in here to yell at me because I've been yelling at me at Twitter all day long and all weekend long, but that's okay. I live for that stuff. Chris Taylor was first. Woo! Lost Waves. Houston in shambles. Am I though? Zuma God doing dub. Happy birthday. Thank you. Chris Taylor, too much weirdness going on in this world. I think jump to a new timeline. Possibly. Very possibly. Louis got the Houston problem banners. Louis also got some graphs. Is it factory? Holy cow, NVIDIA is a 3.16 trillion market cap. How much more can they inflate its value? I'll be honest, I didn't think it was possible for it to get this high. I mean, the insiders have been selling like crazy. Like they've been dumping shares, hundreds of millions a day, and it's still flying. And it's still riding this crazy gamma ramp that it's been on for a year and a half now. Just absolutely just gamma. Every single solitary weekend, it just keeps chugging along and putting more and more options in the money. It is unsustainable. The question is when does that unsustainability finally rear its head? I don't know when, how, who, how much longer it's going to go. It makes no sense to me. It absolutely is. When it crashes, it's going to crash hard. It's going to bring down the entire SPY. That's for sure. But man, I'm sure some newspaper out there will put on the front page all about the Enron 2.0 that is NASDAQ in their weird little, the NVIDIA in their weird little investing in companies that then buy things from them. This like weird loop cycle of fake purchases. But my guess is you won't see it on the front page of one of those newspapers until the powers that be are ready for it to be on the front page of one of those newspapers. So, yeah. It seems like the Senate has reached a consensus for banning the stock trading of members of Congress and their families. Members of Congress would be like 60 days after it passes, and families would be, I think, the next year. So give them a lot of time to push around as many positions as they can that time, and then be over it. But it's about time, I guess, for that one. Oats with Goats. Happy National Tapioca Pudding Day. Also, your birthday. Happy to that, too. There you go. Case Chapman, Houston. Can you explain the connection between ICANN and West Point Home LLC? No. I mean, I saw some tweets about it, mentioning it this morning, and I have not had a chance to dive deep into it at all. I know West Point Home, I think, didn't they buy some of the leases at auction of BBBY? But I don't know enough about their company at all. I saw some things that ICANN is invested in them, and then there's like the hidden 11.9 billion that's somehow tied into that. I'm gonna have to dive deeper tonight because that's a lot to pick up. I was too busy trying to explain to people that Ken Griffin isn't our friend today to to do as much diving as I should. They distracted me, I'll be honest, because he's not our friend. He's an awful, terrible human being. Snort alerts here. GDC Houston. Happy birthday. Can you please retell the story of how you saw the header of NDA and someone reputable told you that we won? It's pretty easy. Got a message telling we won with a picture of the header of the NDA, and that's it. So there's NDAs out there. As to what they're for, I couldn't tell you. If there's anything deeper to that, I don't know. But they're there. So back to the twiddling. Confusing. Houston, what are your thoughts on GME this week? The hopium's running high, that's for sure. So who was saying it was going to be the 17th? So today was the T13 and Wednesday's the T35, I think, is what the current theory is. So we saw a little punch today. The volume was up a smidge. I guess Wednesday we'll see if it starts to pump more, if it truly is T35. But we've had multiple weeks now. People are like, T35 is going to be on this date, and then it passes and nothing happens. But the floor is getting higher and higher on this thing. So as long as my options remain in the money, I'm going to be happy. It'll allow me to reset for a later date. If things start to get wild tomorrow or Wednesday, then we could be looking at some raucous time coming. So cross those fingers, twiddle those thumbs. That's where we are on that one. GDC, now RC 16B lawsuit dismissed. What is the holdup on BBY emerging? There's a second 16B lawsuit, the Bratia case. So that one is arguing that this should be made into a class action suit, and the judge has a hearing for it August 2nd? I think it's sometime in August. My guess is eventually that case will be dismissed as well, because if the others didn't have standing, this clown certainly doesn't have standing, especially since he was day trading the stock anyway and didn't own any at the time Ryan Cohen sold out his. So they should just put that thing into a slingshot and launch it into the sun at this point. So that's my guess is that's what we're waiting for. I would have thought they wanted to launch a lot sooner to get the holiday season in. So you're right. I assume RC wants to launch Teddy before holiday season. Indeed. Trey 3, not first, but was third to hit the like button. Daniel Harris, where do you feel we are on a 1 to 10 scale with GME, BBYQ, and MMTLP? In the horse race that's happening, I think GME slightly ahead of BBBY, and MMTLP has fallen back farther as a result of those lawsuits. George Palikaris sent out a tweet today basically pointing out the shenanigans of the board and how they're just absolutely destroying the company, and that he offered to give all of his shares back to the company so they could use that for sales to raise capital, and they just went and ignored him entirely. So it's I think there's spicy stuff happening with everything involved there, but the fact that lawsuit exists against George and Berta will make it so that anyone in Congress is going to automatically just ignore it, like, oh, the courts are handling it, when it has nothing to do with MMTLP being removed before the shorts had to close. So that's, I think, what we're sitting on, and I hope that George and Berta really mount a hell of a defense to the point where SEC just drops it or gets their ass kicked. And in that process, a whole bunch of discovery is made. We need that discovery to be able to point out exactly who the culprits were in this. And then it could come to the point that if they start asking for the right discovery, that everything gets dropped anyway, so they don't have to give it. which I think is also a very high possibility. Daniel Harris, are you a conspiracy theorist on the attempted Trump assassination over the weekend? If yes, what's your theory? Again, I think the shooter is probably one of those three things: Graper, Boogaloo, disaffected, Epstein. What would you call it? I don't know if he's QAnon or if he was, a victim of child abuse or what. But whatever, he seemed to make his identity being against Epstein's evil empire. And if he saw Trump as part of that, then that would be motive enough. So there has to be a motive. Some of his classmates are being interviewed, and they think the motive was that he was a sad loner and wanted to make a name for himself. I guess that could be something too. But there are motives for assassinations. There could be politically motivated. They could be crazy person motivated. I mean, what's his butt who shot Reagan? My God, what's his name? Leave my head. Guitar player guy. He did it because he was trying to impress Jodie Foster. So, whatever, people have different motivations to do what they do, and he's dead now, so we can't ask him. We could have asked him probably if the Secret Service and state troopers had, they'd known he was on that roof for half an hour. Like, one state trooper took a picture of him. I was like, that's weird. And no one, people in the crowd, you've seen the videos probably by now, people in the crowd are pointing and yelling about the guy on the roof with a gun, and state troopers were like, I don't know, what, huh? And then apparently a cop climbed a ladder, saw him, the dude pointed a gun at the cop went, ah, and ran away. And then that's when the shooting of Trump began. So, I mean, it sounds like a lot of incompetence by the powers that be, and incompetence to a level that will foster these conspiracy theories. I mean, because it just blows people's minds that the safety apparatus in place was so inept that this dude could sit there for half an hour with a long rifle aimed at the president and no one was doing anything about it, and that the safety protocol or the standards of where they place snipers didn't seem to make sense for anybody. It seemed like a shoestring operation is what it seemed like. And bug on my glasses. That's the problem with being outside. Okay. And so it's, there'll be lots of conspiracy theories out there. But still, my guess is probably one of those three reasons for the shooter. Case Chapman says, sure seems staged. Again, what? When there was threats before, the Secret Service just grabbed Trump and run with him, right? In this case, he's shot. They let him stand there and pump his fist for a while and then usher him off stage. That's weird. Why? Those Secret Service people are probably going to be facing disciplinary charges for not rushing him off the stage at that point, and letting him poke his head above and go rah 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 over and over again. That's weird. What's funny though is that cell phone video from backstage showed the Secret Service agents throwing Trump's shoe off the stage and his lift's falling out. So, silver linings, I guess. Climbing in the bushes there, monkey? What are you doing? She just forged a new trail there. Smurf Queef, Houston, in all seriousness, what game did RC have to tweet his Trump views? Yeah, RC on Saturday tweeted Trump 2024 with an American flag. My roommate was asking me this, and his theory is it's Ryan Cohen being like, I'm with you, fellow billionaires. And that's what is, that's what's making it awesome or something. I find it funny. My comment was, Ryan Cohen is supporting Trump, whose campaign will be paid for by Ken Griffin shorting Ryan's companies. And I don't understand. To me, it seems like a total leopards eating your face thing. Because Ryan Cohen's a Jewish immigrant, right? I don't know if he's even an American citizen. He might be at this point. Or he could just be here on a visa or green card or something. And part of both Agenda 47 and Project 2025, which are the platforms for Donald Trump, regardless of what he claims. Part of that is an explicit piece of executive order they want signed that will basically kick out every immigrant in the country, right? Like, you're an immigrant, we're going to throw you into a camp until we can find a place to deport you to. That is a huge portion of Project 2025. And if you are a minority immigrant, that should worry the shit out of you. I guess he's insulated because he's a billionaire, but yeah, it doesn't seem to me to make much sense at all. I've always known he's like on the libertarian bent. He said that in that one interview he did last year. But like, he's also tweeted out like, don't, if you run a company, don't take political sides, whatever. And he pissed off a lot of investors because a lot of people view Trump as a giant liability when it comes to investment. I mean, look at Truth Social. The company lost $300 million last quarter while making $700,000. That's up from losing like $50 million a quarter. You can own an A&W franchise in East Bumfuck, Kansas, and you will get higher revenue than you will off of Truth Social. It's a doomed platform that will not make money, and it is basically borrowing against itself and paying Trump huge amounts of money to do it. Hey, happy dog, what'd you do? You have a good time? Come here. Come on. Yeah. Oh, that's heavy breathing. You must have been doing some running, huh? Yeah. Okay. Come on. Over here, monkey. Come on. Or just go under the bed, whatever. All right. There, monkey butt down here. Yeah. So it is lightning. It's a lightning rod for me. I mean, it pisses me off, that's for sure. But wow, a lot of business leaders are like Trump, despite the fact that it will be the end of the world. Really? Guess I'm stuck in your nose, dude. Okay. 409 Houston, happy birthday. Fuck the noise. Just don't get kicked off Twitter because it's a good dumpster fire with a few good people. Well, we'll see. I've made it this far. Travis Martin 06. A better title would be Donald Trump is not your friend. Well, that too. But my biggest point is just because Ken Griffin is backing your chosen candidate, for whatever reason he's your chosen candidate, I really don't understand the draw, doesn't mean that Ken Griffin suddenly is a good guy. It just means that you chose an awful person to begin with, and Ken Griffin agrees with you. And you're going, oh, the worst person I know agrees with me, that must mean I'm right. I don't understand the logic behind it. I don't. But there's quite a few people today who are like, Ken Griffin's obviously switched, and Jim Cramer's also on our side too. No, they're not. They fucking hate you. They hate you with a passion of 1,000 suns. They think you're a moron who's ruining their good time, and they would so gladly see you squashed under a Jersey barrier than to have to like deal with you ever again. You're scum. You're spit on the sidewalk. You're gum on the shoe. You're a fart in the wind as far as they're concerned. And like, they're not your friend, they're not your buddy. They want to see you die, but not before taking every single solitary penny you have in the process. So no, him jumping in on the Trump train is not all of a sudden him switching sides. It's him being who he was the entire time, and Trump being that guy too. So they're like, oh, but Trump called out, Ken Griffin over DJT shorting. Okay. And he also said he was going to nuke North Korea, and now he and Kim Jong-un are best friends. So, like, all you have to do is send the guy a love letter, and he's like, yeah, I am that cool. And he'll show that love letter off to everybody. Lisa, Houston, your thoughts on the doctor who gave CPR the shooting victim at the Trump event despite brain matter having left the victim's body? You do what you can until you can rush them to a hospital and have people with all the apparatuses declare otherwise. But that guy's training went into effect, and if you're going to be shot in the head, I guess you hope that there's an emergency room physician there to give you a chance. But it sounded like it was pretty hopeless from the get-go there. Brutal, just brutal, man, just absolutely brutal. Mark Wood says keep an eye on COSM and TPST. I have no idea what those are, so let us find out. Where am I going to go? Scenes, and then oh shoot, come on, Chrome. Oh yeah, the gutter oil thing. We'll open that one up because that's the screen that we were on last. Okay. What was it? COSM? Wrong one. Crap. I lost my spot. It was COSM. With one screen, it's much harder to do than when I have 3 screens and I've got information everywhere. Chronic suppurative otitis media, common childhood infection. I don't think that's what we're looking for. COSM, Cosmos Health Incorporated. I'll go to that. So it's $1.40, and it's gone up quite a bit today. Went from $1.29 to $1.55 at one point after hours there. So what last year have you done for me? It's gone down a lot in the last year. About all time. Give me the all time. So this was a $10 stock, more or less, with some big swings. This is down to $1, back up to 13. A lot of swings in this sucker. It was as high as 6 just a year ago. I guess a year and a half ago. That's got a lot of swings to it. What do they do? What are they? Some news. Cosmos Health expands collaboration with Papua, Cyprus, Sky Premium, Life Sales. It definitely seems like a volatile stock for sure, but I don't know what they do. What are you? Cosmos Health. Is an international healthcare group that was incorporated in 2009. The group engaged in nutraceuticals sector through an own proprietary list of Sky Premium. Oh, it sounds like they're a health supplement company. Okay, well, those will definitely be volatile like crazy. What was the other one? TPST. TPST. Oh, hush. Monkey. It's probably like an Amazon dude or something. Tempest Therapeutics. Well, I think we looked at them before. If I remember correctly. Look on this guy. It was very high. 150, and then a huge drop, and then a long drawn down drop. Is this a company that's done reverse splits once or twice? Hey, monkey. Yes, Amazon guy. You don't need to yell at them. You can show them your bone if you want. But it definitely looks like it has been a sad time ever since 2022. So in 1 year, how much? It got some volatility. It was a real sad time, and then boop, went up a lot, and then sad time. So, I don't know enough about them, but definitely looks like there might be more sadness in there. I have no idea. Back to Big Houston. Thoughts on Chewy and GameStop being basically identical? Very weird. Very weird indeed. Don't they have like similar sized floats, if I remember correctly? So, I wouldn't doubt if Ryan tries to go back for his baby, right? Children, animals must be protected. So I wouldn't doubt if he goes back for it. Thomas Dubois, bon anniversary, Houston. Big hugs to Monkey Butt. Monkey Butt, you're in the sun. She's in the sunshine. I can't hug her right now. Black Udon, Lisa saw any excuse for the doctor to get a little bit of intimacy in his life. Oh, ouch. Philly Gearhead's got some monkey butt images. Whisker Biscuit, first live show in a month. Been training for an Ironman. Glad to be back. Woo, where are you doing your Ironman? I've never done one. I've never had a desire to do one. My sister has done the Idaho, and then she did the Olympic version triathlon Ironman in Hawaii back when I was in school there. So she came out and visited for a week and then did that guy. Yeah, once I didn't have to pitch anymore, I stopped running. People talk about runner's high. I never got runner's high in my life. I would be running 10 miles a day, hating every minute of it. And the minute I was like, my pitching career is done, I was like, I'm out. I'm not going to be running distances anymore. I don't mind going for bicycle rides. I used to bicycle a lot, but then people on cell phones almost killed me all the time. And so I've got a very expensive road bike that just sits in the garage and doesn't get used. I'll mountain bike every once in a while, but yeah. Michael Tucker, Dems have no chance in November. I mean, the fact is most voters still kind of hate Trump. Like your choice is between a doddering old man who maintains the status quo, okay, or a doddering old man who will destroy the world. And I think that's how a lot of people view that binary choice. If Trump wins, oh, we're so fucked. We are so absolutely fucked. Because the first time he won, he had no idea what he was doing. And it was like by the seat of their pants, didn't even have training wheels. They had no idea that they needed to hire people for the White House. Jared Kushner, who was going to run the White House, was like, so which one of you are staying behind to the Obama people? And the Obama people were like, fuck you. That's not how this works. You go find your own assholes. And so there was a lot of learning curve, way steeper learning curve in that administration probably than any other, and it was a disaster. I don't know, like people who think that things were great, I don't know how you do that, how you justify that. I mean, like just look at like the first initial policies, which were, overtly racist, anti-travel laws. We had an attempt to strip all sorts of environmental regulations, and essentially just let industry poison us like crazy. Look at this beautiful trees and everything out behind me. That would be strip mined for whoever they could get if you just allowed them to do whatever they want. And then we had like the little baby steps that led to further disaster, which was the push for the Trump tax cuts. And everyone's like, oh yeah, tax cuts, woo. Well, it cut huge amounts of corporate taxes and huge amounts of taxes off of millionaires and billionaires. And what did they do with that money? It didn't show up in our pockets. It went into corporate stock buybacks, which made the giant stock bubble that we see today, right? They don't all of a sudden be like, oh, thank you so much tax breaks. Here you go, people. The spending never reaches us because rich people have all they need. They don't need to buy other things, so they invest. And that investment does not trickle down, ever. And to pay for those tax cuts, he did dumbass things like cut the pandemic response team and the USAID rapid response teams, who are the two groups that handle outbreaks and pandemics and the policies involved. The pandemic response team was a National Security Council level group of people, and he fired them all, being like, well, if we need them, we'll just hire them back. Oh, did that work out? Did we have an adequate pandemic response there, Mr. Trump? Or did we completely just 100% fuck up and cause a giant collapse of the economy, kill tens of millions of people worldwide, and spend $21 trillion battling something that would have been preventable if we still had the experts in charge and their fucking binder of policies. The U.S. aid team is the most egregious one. If you ever go on Netflix and watch the docuseries Pandemic, which actually came out like a month before the actual pandemic, you will see the U.S. aid team at work. They're one of the featured groups in that docuseries. And they were in countries all over the world. They were in China. They were in Vietnam. They were in Cambodia and Thailand and Turkey and Egypt. They were in almost every country on earth because the U.S. government had the infrastructure and the apparatus to stop outbreaks before they spread. And so if they got chatter, they got news of a farmer being sick for some reason, they would rush there, they would kill all the animals, and then they would quarantine the farmer, and then they would pay the farmer or deliver new animals to them so that they didn't have a loss in order to stop any potential outbreak from happening. And this team was working in China. There were actually multiple teams in China working hand in hand with the Chinese government doing exactly this. And 3 weeks before COVID raised its head, they fired all of them to save a whopping $40 million to pay for those tax cuts. And what happened? Fucking pandemic. Right? These are the teams that stopped SARS and MERS in its place. Right? Where, a couple thousand people got infected but didn't spread beyond that. And instead, we fired them and then immediately had a zoonotic outbreak. We've stopped so many zoonotic novel virus outbreaks with those teams in the past. And what they should do is they should just put a monument on the wall of how many outbreaks they stopped, and so we can see like all the work they did. And now what we're going to have is outbreak after outbreak after outbreak, because despite spending $21 trillion on battling this pandemic and trying to keep the economy afloat during it, we didn't learn our lesson, and we still don't have a pandemic response team, and we have not brought back the U.S. aid fast response team. So it's just so boneheaded. I mean, the other part of it is that all during 2019, Trump was threatening to get rid of Powell unless he kept interest rates low. None of that. He wanted interest rates negative. He wanted to get paid to borrow money. That's what he wanted. Why? Because Trump's entire career is built off of borrowing, and him not being able to pay back loans is why he had to keep declaring bankruptcy. So if he can get the Fed to keep interest rates at negative, then he can borrow all the money he wants. He can make money off of borrowing, and so that forced the Fed to basically not raise rates that entire time. And then when the pandemic hit, we didn't have the tool of cutting rates in order to keep capital flowing through the markets. And instead, we had to print trillions upon trillions of dollars. It's so short-sighted, and the senseless job loss and the deaths and like the inflation we see today that resulted from all that is because he sucked at his job. And now they learned that lesson of like flying by the seat of their pants, and now they've got this precise document, the Project 2025, that lays out every step and every action that this administration can take from day one to turn us into a theocratic dictatorship. That's what they want. They want to control. If you're a woman and you don't have your period tracked and you try to go from one state to another, under Project 2025, they can keep you from doing interstate travel, right? If you go to public school, you'll be required to take the ASVAB test, but not if you go to private school, even if the private school is funded by U.S. tax dollars. So essentially, they're setting up for everyone has to go to the military except for rich people, right? Which is, kind of the history of this country. They want to fire every single solitary expert in the U.S. government, turn all of their career bureaucratic jobs into political appointments, and force them to swear a oath of loyalty to the president and not the country, not the Constitution of the country. So imagine you have, 5,000 scientists at the Energy Agency. They're doing things like, monitoring nuclear reactors, making sure that power plants aren't like spewing pollutants into the air. And you got these nuclear physicists who refuse to sign a loyalty oath to the president, so they get their asses fired. And then he put in some political appointee. You are absolutely not going to find physicists who are capable of doing that job who'd be willing to sign a loyalty oath. They do not exist. And if they do, they're so fucking bad at their job that it's going to be damaging anyway. So what's going to happen is you're going to have some like MBA from Yale whose dad's a political appointee, and they'll be like, you're in charge of nuclear energy. And he's going to be like, cool, Pops. And then we're going to fucked up everything. It's just seriously, read Project 2025. The first page alone will make you go, what the fuck? And that's 101 people that were in the Trump administration worked on authoring that. It's crazy. So, yeah, Democrats might lose in November, but I think everyone loses if that's the case. You got doddering old status quo or end of the world, and you know, it's your choice at that point. Julius Miami, today's word of the day is flipped. Yes, Kenny flipped. He flipped. He's like, hey, you know what? I'm not gonna be against retail anymore. I'm for retail. Yeah. Says 54. I give up. I'm so fucking done with this joke of a country. Houston Wade, please save me from this downward spiral. Is there still a light at the end of the tunnel? Please help me. I mean, there is a light down at the end of the tunnel. I think it's kind of far away at this point. I don't know if we'll make it or if that thing will just on us. So, Cali Bowl, little flipper. Gay fat kid. Trump was in the Epstein files? Yep. Dozens of messages left at like 3 in the morning for Epstein. Some of those messages connected with asking about massage appointments, and we all know from Epstein's convictions that he was, and from the amazing job that Miami Herald did investigating Epstein, that those massage appointments were children. Those were children giving massages to older men. Yeah. So if you don't know like about what Epstein did, Epstein basically he would send out his little employees, his little minions, and they would find young ladies and be like, hey, young lady, would you like to make a couple $100 and work as a masseuse? And the young, impressionable child who doesn't know any better would be like, I can go for a couple $100. And they would bring them back to one of Epstein's houses, where they would have the girl like go into a massage room, and Epstein would come out, and he would just get buck-ass naked, and they'd have him massage them, and then he would rape them. And if they didn't like that, and they didn't want to come back, they'd be like, I don't want to do this ever again. Epstein would be like, well, here's your couple $100. I'll give you a couple $100 more if you do find a girl for me who would be willing to do this. And so then he would turn those girls basically into little pimps for him. And they would go find their friends and sell their friends to him. And they'd do it over and over and over. And it seems pretty apparent that Epstein made his fortune through a blackmail scheme where he would have these young underage girls perform sex acts on these men, film it, and blackmail them into giving them money, giving them power, giving them whatever. And that seems to be what the gist of it was. So yeah, and Trump's in there. They did multiple flights together. Lots of underage girls who weren't related to either man was on those same flight logs. Just gross stuff. And yeah, so that to me is that third option of what crooks may have been a motive for shooting. Fred Jones, Florida Trump case dismissed. Oh yeah, that's the other thing that happened today. Oh my God. So Eileen Cannon, Trump appointee, declared that appointing a special prosecutor was not legal and threw out the top secret documents case in Florida. It will be appealed to the 11th Circuit Court, where, I mean, precedent has stated over and over again that special prosecutors are illegal. And it may work out in Jack Smith's favor, because if it gets overturned by the 11th Circuit and sent back down to the district court, then Eileen's probably going to be booted off the case and a new judge will be appointed. But this was definitely a total stretch by Cannon on that point. But we're coming to discover that our entire court system is failing us miserably and doing everything it possibly can to shield Trump from consequences of his actions while fucking over everybody else. Which is another reason why, if he gets elected again with this immunity that he has, we are so very fucked. This country will be just a slim shadow of its former self. So, yeah. I mean, so much news. I can't believe I didn't mention that because so much news has been going on. Just clown show after clown show, man. That's where we are. Hayes Productions. Any thoughts on SNGX stock? It moved 500% last week in a day and had 130 million shares traded with a 900,000 float. SNGX. I don't even know who that is, but let's go look at SGNX. These penny stocks all do weird things, and it's too hard to keep track of them all. SGNX. Let's just look at the last month. Okay, so we were down to $2 even, and then it jumped huge and went up to $7.42. So about 400%ish, almost. Sologenics Incorporated. It's a pharmaceutical company. Got a couple of things. My guess is there's a pharmaceutical company that probably had something approved by the FDA. That'd be my guess. If I do Sologenics FDA. Sologenics orphan drug designation. Looks like they had positive reviews. This is a press release they released 6 days ago, about the time it went jumpy, and it was company. Late stage pharmaceutical company based in developing commercialized products. Blah 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 blah. Okay, give us phase 3 flash study. Highbright has shown to be efficacious with a promising safety profile, limited treatment options, especially in the early stages of the disease. CTCL patients offer surgery. So my guess has to do with this: is that they are pleased with the initial study results of the FDA support. So they're going for FDA approval on a drug. That's why they jumped. So, Highbright, novel, first-in-class photodynamic therapy utilizing safe visible light for activation. The active ingredient in Highbright is synthetic hypersin, potent photosynthesizer, is topically applied to skin lesions that is taken up by malignant T cells. Okay, so it looks like they apply it and they zap it? Yeah, so, okay. That's why they jumped. Noted. To learn more about that. Seems like a pretty interesting process. D. I'm so glad you're here, Houston. Well, I'm glad I'm here too. Speaking of which, I need more pink lemonade, because pink lemonade is delicious. False flags, Houston. Well, wild times. You think if Trump becomes president with Kim backing him, won't he be able to stop MOS presidential immunity? He'll, if Ken gives him hundreds of millions of dollars, he's going to expect either to become Secretary of the SEC or Treasury. And either one of those things, he'll be able to do all sorts of things to stop regulation in the markets, allowing his companies to benefit greatly. You think he's going to give up control of Citadel if he becomes Secretary of the Treasury? Hell no. He'll do exactly what Trump did in his first administration, where he'll pretend to give up control and then still control the entire empire. So it's not going to be good for us. Ken Griffin is not your friend. He's not. He is not your friend. So just keep that in mind. Yeah. DOJ already appealing, says Julio. Yes, they are. Lisa Assad, do you think Trump has some dirt on Kenny Boy? I bet the exact opposite. I bet Kenny Boy has got dirt on Trump. Or he just paid him, and that was enough. Citizen 54, is there any chance we save this country? Yes. It's slim, but yes. At this point, if Trump loses the election, which I don't think the polls actually reflect what reality is in this case, Because you can look at multiple polls. You can look at polls like of the general population, and yeah, Trump's ahead by a few points. A lot of independents are still undecided. But if you look at polls of likely voters, Trump loses. So I could probably find one of those right now. Poll of likely voters. There's Gallup's likely voter model. Let's see. Last time I looked, it was pretty even. Oh, you guys can't see where I am. Duh, I forgot to turn that part on. That's another problem with having only one screen, is that I can't remember. Okay, so give me Gallup. Give me... God, dang it, can you just... I hate these stupid... Yeah, no, I don't even want essential. Go away. Whatever. Go away. Okay. Give me results. No, just give me... That's the question. I don't want the question. I want results. Give me results. That's just giving me... Where is... Oh, 538 will probably have it in theirs. All polls. I want... President general election. I want... Give me the likely voters. Okay. So, you're seeing Trump ahead in all these, but where is my likely voters one? Don't they have... I thought they had a thing I could select the likely voters. Sort by... Can I put likely voters? Did that do anything? No, apparently can't select by likely voters. Okay, general election poll, generic balloting poll. Alright, let's see if we can find that. Come on, likely voters. Poll results. I'm gonna spend my entire time looking. Here we go. Here we go. This is from April, so that doesn't quite help us because that's still a couple months ago. But it's different between national polling and likely voters. But so whether if you're registered, I mean that's what I should do. Registered voters. That'd be the search term I want. So this is back in April, and Biden trails 44.2 to 44.5 in a likely two-way match. But do they have the likely voters in here? One telling element is the only starting to emerge in the divergence between polls of registered and likely voters. There we go. So, using the registered voter poll, Biden leads Trump 44 to 43, and Biden also leads in the 5 polls. Is that the likely voter one? And then oh no, sorry, it's on the opposite. Likely voter poll was Trump leads back in April. So I might be wrong about that. So registered voter, Biden was ahead, and likely voter, I may have switched those in my head. But it's going to be interesting for sure. I mean, my optimism isn't as high as it was. I still have hopes that we can figure out how to not fall into an autocratic dictatorship. But there's some rich, powerful people who really want it to happen, and it seems like they're going to do what they can to make it happen, and a whole bunch of really poor people are going to help them do it. They're not your friends. They just aren't. They aren't your friends. They don't have you in mind at all, other than the fact sometimes they have to see you when you park their car for them, or make their bed. So that's the difference. GDC, any news on No Labs, desperate for a win or anything? Last week they came out with the results of the most recent testing, and they nailed 93-point-something% of all tests we're gathering. With basically, you You can be measuring your glucose levels, whether you're hypoglycemic, hyperglycemic, etc. It nailed it 93 point something percent of the time, like dead on. And all that's required by the FDA is being within 15 to 20% of dead on 95% of the time. So they probably fell definitely within that constraint. And if you're having a continuous monitor, right, you're doing 100 monitors an hour or a second or whatever, if 93 of those are dead on, then it gives you a pretty good idea of what your blood glucose level is. That's a really good sign. So that's what they're going to do with that is more tests and eventually an FDA application. So fingers crossed. Oh shoot, that just reset the whole chat. Oh, Jason Blackwell. I miss super chats. I'm so sorry, Jason Blackwell. I don't have the second screen up, so I'm not seeing super chats. Houston, the market makers didn't sell you shares of GameStop. They sold you credit default swaps that pay out upon the demise of Citadel. Exactly. And if Citadel doesn't demise, well, here we are. And Giga Shukla, Dems can't assume an election is over and at least try and vote. Exactly. We've got a whole bunch of people that are like, Biden needs to drop out. It's over. I'm like, just fight for once in your life, you sacks of like limp noodles. Jesus Christ, the Dems are just a bunch of like, it sounds sexy, but a bunch of pussies, and I mean that in like a scaredy cat sense. Like, they're scared of their own shadows. They're scared of like showing fortitude in anything, and like because they believe that if you are tough and strong and actually stand up for what you believe in, that you're like taking the low road somehow. No, you point out to these assholes they're a bunch of fucking assholes, and you state why, and you stand your ground. Like, Biden keeps trying to debate a person who's a normal human being. They're not, and he gets flustered because he's a decaying old man. It happens. But you have to go into that like the first debate with him and go, God, man, will you shut up? And then go from there. You cannot treat Trump seriously. He is an unserious person. So you treat him like an unserious person, and you make fun of that asshole the entire time. You point out every little fucking physical flaw you can see in him and get him enraged because he's a narcissist. You point out that he's fat and out of shape and painted orange, and he's got a weird, like, head scar surgery to make it look like he's got a head full of hair. You point out the fact that he wears lifts in his shoes, that he lies about his weight. You go petty, and you point out every fucking flaw in this guy, and then you hit him on policy. Because he doesn't know policy. So you absolutely eviscerate him as a human being, and then show that his policy is dog shit and is built entirely out of the fact that he's a fascist little narcissistic fuckwit. And the Democrats are always too scared. When they go low, we go high. Oh yeah, how'd that work out for you? It didn't. Like, there's no sense if the future of the nation depends upon taking, whether we go the low road or high road, and we take the high road and lose. Cool. The cities are burning, but at least we stuck to our foundation and turned the other cheek. No, fuck that. You go ape shit. You cannot reason with Nazis. You have to firebomb Dresden. That's just the way it works. They will not, absolutely not, allow you any inch in a debate. You can't reason with them. You can't. All you can do is point out their flaws and belittle them to the point where they get flustered, and that's it. So you got to fight. You got to, because otherwise we're going to be facing, numerous government bureaucracies with millions of laid off federal workers, and all their jobs will be replaced by unqualified yes men who signed a loyalty to the president and not to the country. And the entire point of these federal bureaucracies is that you have experts that last through administrations, so there's a continuity of work being done. And if you make every single one of those roles political appointees, how great do you think the USGS will operate if it's political appointees, or NOAA, or the National Weather Service, right? These are teams that do things like monitor volcanoes, tell us if a hurricane is coming. If we appoint a whole bunch of people into those technical positions that have no idea how something like GIS works or satellite orbital patterns, we're fucked. We'll be getting hit with hurricanes and storms and tornadoes and never see it coming because we'll have incompetence in there. And if we get hit with hurricanes that we don't see coming, right? Imagine the disaster that happens. We're back to the 1920s when you can lose 20,000 people in Galveston in one afternoon. And we're not even that much better right now if you look at Houston, Texas. We knew a hurricane was coming. And the state officials were so stupid they didn't even declare a state of emergency. Not only that, they deregulated the entire power grid, so those independent companies are in charge of it now, and those guys don't even know what the hell they're doing. They had no game plan for if power goes out. Incompetence kills people, and that's what we're begging for in this election with something like Project 2025, is that they want to kill you all with incompetence because it will save a billionaire a few dollars. Your lives mean nothing. And the problem is those billionaires are so short-sighted, they don't realize they're going to end up losing money in the end. Because you kill people, you lose customers. You can't monitor storms, you sink ships, and products don't get to market, right? You destroy the environment and you make places uninhabitable. Oh, guess what? Customers won't be going to your shop anymore. So there's an entire point to having this regulatory structure to make sure that the unrestrained assholes get restrained a little bit and to keep our society going. Laws are mostly there to deal with people who have cluster B personality disorders. Most of the rest of us can obey society's rules and norms and the social contract pretty well. But sociopaths, psychopaths, and narcissists, they don't care. They only pay attention to immediate and rapid consequence. And if they don't face any immediate, rapid, or consequences, they have unfettered access to everything in society, and they can do whatever the hell they want, and they will ruin you. They will ruin all of us. It's just fucked up. I mean, we're gonna probably have more rants coming as the days go on, but looks like some membership giftings going on. We have Low B got Spiffy, Zebra Cove, Figure Anonymous, Keeping It Breezy, Diaz Perk, Tony Yu, Michael Tucker, Night Cow 87, Derek Colhorst, Antonio Baez, Lila, David Wick, Boom, Logic Dustbend, Delete Yourself, Victor Furland, Cabo, Grumpkin, Woodnot, and Robert. Woo! That's quite a lot of them there. Got 20 of quite a few lurkers in that one. Or the new people. I appreciate it. And Fred Jones, Nunny D Biz, KYP, D, Swordfish, and oh shoot, and Nasty Nate. All got gifted memberships. Thank you, Fred Jones. Thank you, Low B. I know I've been ranty lately, but we're gonna get more and more ranty as we get closer and closer to all this, I bet. So brace yourselves. We're talking about a lot. Sujo Kozenik, Stoko Tracker, no options data for AMC GME. Oh, Stock Tracker, no options data for AMC GME. I don't know about that. I usually use Yahoo because it shows up better on screen than other versions. So let's see here. We got GameStop options. Oh. Options data is gone at the moment. What about others? What about Chewy? Oh, you guys can't see. I forgot to turn that screen on again. Dang it. There we go. Okay, so here's Chewy. Let's refresh this thing. Chewy's showing up. GameStop is not. Interesting. No calls. No puts. Wonder what glitch is going on here. What if we do AMC options chain. Yahoo? Talk up there. AMC's there. Oh wait, that GameStop. Oh, that's because never mind. This is because this was on last week. Okay, let's do that. Nope, still nothing. Oh, there we go. Okay, never mind. It's back. No, it's there. We haven't talked about interesting things. Whew, lots of stuff going on at 25. At 26, that's where I am. And holy smokes, look at the purchases at 30. So we had a sitting open interest at 66,000 and 40,000 more traded today. That's probably people getting in, be my guess. That's a lot. Where's Max Payne for this week? GME Max Payne. Oh, I did not type at all when I tried to get that done. GME. GME. Gosh dang, I cannot type to save my life. GME Max Payne. Oh, the dog's got the zoomies. Boy, she's going bonkers. Woo! It's much more fun outside. So Max Payne's at $24.50. And stock price at 27 bucks. So we are above that. So let's go back to the GameStop. Hoosier wants it. There she goes, crazy dog. Okay. So $24.50. That's there. So we're at 30,000, 40,000, 40 and change. But we are at 27 right now. So we're at like 46, 47,000. That's 4.5 million shares, which is more than last week. Currently in the money. And we have the potential, if we go to $30, of adding another 10, 70, another 8 million shares, maybe, depending on what that volume was. If that was adding contracts, so we might be at like 10 or 12 million shares if it goes to 30. And the other thing to look at are the 40s. These out of the money ones, big out of the monies. It looks like there's a lot of action at 40. So, Okay, interesting. So it looks like we got them. Boink. Okay, I got 22 minutes. Maybe we could fit in like 3 more rants in there. Okay, they're missing the super chats. I feel so bad when I don't have my multiple screens. Jigish does want me to go back into the office, though. He did put that in last show. Okay. Where did I leave off here? That's what I can't find. Goodness gracious. It takes so long to scroll this thing when I have a mouse wheel to do it. Okay, there we go. There's Whisker Biscuit. Okay. There's asking about the Solgenics. There is... Okay. There's asking about No Labs. Joe Shooch, Trump was always so adamant about not using mega donors' money to fund his campaigns. I don't remember that at all. I know Bernie was. Bernie had mostly independent donors, but Trump will take money from anyone. He has no ethos. He will gladly take money from anybody. Zonti, what's your strategy to grow your options contracts? I was impressed last time you said you grew them from 2K to 100K. I grew them from 700 to like 130 before we got absolutely whooped. Basically, you buy some options, usually a week or 2 out if you think volatility is coming. This is how I've done it. And when the volatility hits, it usually hits over a couple of days, going up and down. And when it goes up, you sell your options, buy puts, write it down. You know, it might go up like $2, $3. Like today, what I should have done is when it went to like 26.87, is sold my $26 calls, because I was up about 100% on each of those, and then flip them into $27 puts, and ride them down $1, and then sell them, because you'd pay $100, get another $100, you basically double it. And then when I jump back into calls again, and it went back up to 27. I'd probably buy $26 calls all over again, and this time get, 10 of them, and let that ride up. And it also helped out that last time we had a couple of days where we had huge gains overnight. And in the morning, when you get huge gains overnight, at opening, the price is insane, and then 10 seconds later it starts to fall as the shorts hammer it down. And so if you're up huge, and the implied volatility is really high at open, especially when there's a big price change like that, so the premium price on the stocks goes through the roof. So, or premium price for the contracts. So I sell those contracts at open, buy puts, and write it down, 10-20%. And when that happens, you basically you probably 40x'd from the day before, and then you buy back into calls again, and it will ride back up. Especially just before close at noon, you would see these big gains right at the end of the day. And so oftentimes I would ride that back up, and then maybe in the last 10 minutes of the day, I would sell those calls and then reset for overnight and buy a whole bunch of at the money for overnight. And by that point, you're going from 4 calls to 10 calls to 20 calls to 150 calls, and you're just building up this amount of contracts. Because the goal is, if it really flies, if it does something like it did in January 2021, where it goes up hundreds and hundreds of dollars, the more contracts you have, it doesn't really matter at what price point at that point, because every $100 is $10,000 on a contract. So if you can load up hundreds or thousands of contracts in the end, and you get one good day where that sucker flies, and we've saw it happen several times in 2021 where it went more than $100 in a single day. If you got 1,000 contracts and it went $100 in that day, you just made $10,000. So that was the goal, and that's totally $10 million. And that was my goal for January 7th or June 7th. Oh my God, I'm having a stroke. June 7th I was like, oh my God, this thing's flying overnight. I'm going to open at like 130. I will sell these suckers by, 400 or more puts, ride that down about 20%, and then jump back in with thousands upon thousands of call options, and this sucker will fly. It'll close high. We'll have an insane amount of gamma for Monday, and then I'm retired. And that was totally what I was going for. And then I got hit in the face with a wet fish when they diluted instead, and that what was opened at 130 was like, gone, poof, into the ether. So it happens. Start all over again. We'll try again. But yeah, I probably should have day traded today. Oh well, maybe there'll be a chance tomorrow. We'll see. Some colorful lemonade today. It says Murph and Turf Studios. It's pink. On here, it's more pink in real life than it is on screen. On screen, it looks a little blue almost. But, maybe my colorful shirt just tires it down for the audience. Mike Walter even captured it in a photo. Oh, talking about that cop. The cop took a picture of that dude on the roof and was like, this is weird. And then another half an hour went by. It was crazy. GDC, given that Wall Street predominantly leans to one side of the political spectrum, do they trigger commercial real estate crash before election? I mean, I'm sure they could trigger it now if they wanted to. If the banks just started going like, oh, all this stuff is worthless, then it crashes. But right now, it appears they're definitely like la 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 la, pretending like nothing bad is happening and pretending like all that paper they have is still good until it isn't. But I don't know if you remember, about 6-7 months ago, probably last winter, we were talking about how to pay attention to articles on distressed buildings. And we're seeing them pop up like last October, November, December, maybe like one a week. Oh, this skyscraper isn't worth as much money as it was and it's gone into receivership or it's being sold at auction. Now we're seeing like 5 or 10 a day. Shopping malls, warehouses, office buildings, right? Housing developments, apartment buildings, hotels. We're seeing like 5 or 10 of them a day in serious articles talk about how, oh, the tallest building in Birmingham, Alabama is now going up for auction because they can't pay for it. The tallest building in Dallas, this giant office structure in Rochester, this building in downtown Manhattan just sold for $4 million, and it was a $100 million building before. We're seeing those like 5 times a day now. That just this year alone is about $1 trillion in commercial real estate bonds that the principals are due by the end of the year. And these banks are trying desperately to ignore that fact until it's too late. Because, maybe the hand of God will come down and rescue us, I think is their mentality. Maybe the economy is suddenly doing great. These buildings were worth a lot of money. No, they're not. They're toast. So they could probably pull the trigger anytime they want on announcing all that. But only ones we're seeing are the ones that we have to see. That's basically it. S2002, Houston. How do you feel about BBY? Are we still on the right track regarding a positive conclusion? Please let me know your thoughts. Oh yeah. Yeah, I think definitely. We just got to sit and wait for all the court cases to be done, and they'll be done when they're done. I have a feeling that if there wasn't the 16B cases against Ryan Cohen, that we would be sitting pretty right now. And since there are 16B cases against Ryan Cohen, that we won't see any action until those are over. So, twiddle away. Just keep twiddling, don't stop. Says 54, if Trump wins, MOAS is canceled. What would another presidency be like for the U.S.? His other presidency, I think Project 2025 gives you a good idea of what it will be like. Sycophant Central, man. Yeah, it'll be brutal. At least I'm a white dude with blue eyes, so I've got that going for me. I can blend into the crowd pretty easily, but a lot of folks can't. And those folks are going to face some harsh realities, and I feel for them. So, just try to put yourself in the shoes of people who are targets of things like Project 2025. If you're a woman, you're a target. They don't want you, their goal is literally a single income family where the man is in charge and the woman's at home. That's great for some people, right? But for other people, that's not ideal, right? And they want to get rid of no-fault divorce. So let's say there's a single income family. The man earns all the money, and his wife's at home, and he beats the shit out of that entire family all day long, right? He comes home from work and just wails on them. That wife has no income. She has got no access to the bank accounts. She can't leave, and she can't file for no-fault divorce and just get out of that situation if Project 2025 gets what they want. There's a reason why these laws exist. Behind every regulation is usually a dead person. And so that's why we make these rules. Like, oh, wow, we didn't think about making that rule. I guess we should. About 20 years ago, a story came out about this ranch in Enumclaw, Washington, out near Mount Rainier. It's a little hick town out by Mount Rainier. And it turns out that a rancher was selling sexual experiences with a horse to people. And the horse entered a man, shabonk, and perforated his insides, and he died. And everyone went, what the fuck? Why is this being allowed to happen? And what turned out was Washington State, it never occurred to them that they had to make a state law against bestiality. Because it never occurred, why would you have sex with a horse? It didn't make any sense. It never occurred to somebody to make a law against it. And it took a guy having a giant 6-foot dong rip apart his insides for us to go, maybe we should write a law about that. And that's why you have the regulation you see today. Right? In this case, we've got women that were beaten to death all over the country. Marital rape was legal. Spousal abuse was legal. Women weren't allowed to have their own banking accounts or checking accounts. And this to the people of Part 25 was the glory days. I've got my own sex slave at home who's forced to cook me food. And we took the abuse and the horror that happened to these people, and we very slowly, over time, got women the rights they should have had all along. And now we want to reverse it. Vice versa. You're a gay man, you're fucked. You're trans, you're fucked. You're lesbian, you're fucked. You have a skin color darker than mine, you're fucked. they're going to round you all up. They're going to abuse you. They're going to put you in camps. They're going to send your ass. Oh, whoa! Holy smokes! I just watched a tree collapse onto the road. Holy moly! I should have turned the camera fast enough for that one. I got monkey concerned. Yeah, that was a big tree. Now it's across the road. Go check it out for me, will you? All right. Report back. Did you guys hear that in the microphone? Holy cow! That was huge. That was just like a maple tree, just like, I don't exist anymore. Man. So Richie's gonna check it out. Want to check out with a monkey? You want to go get him? Want to get him? No, that was scary. Sound like a firework. Okay, but yeah, it's. What would the USA be like? It'd be terrible. It would be awful. Just life will suck. That's what it will come down to. Glennis Houston, how does one cope with rationally a stock market housing? You go a lot. that's what you just throw up your hands and go, well, yeah. Say you can turn up your volume. I cannot. My volume is as high as it goes. It does not go any higher. So you have to turn up your volume, I think. This is, I mean, if I get really close to this, it might work, but then you're stuck looking at this all day long, and the shirt's better than my face. D, are you dipping your toes into Siri? There's some tinfoil that when Roaring Kitty posted, "Are you serious?" From what's the tennis guy? Oh my gosh, Monkey, the name's leaving my head. Tennis dude, John McEnroe. There we go. And that they're talking about Sirius Radio. Sirius Radio is like 3.3 billion shares. They are not a small float stock. That does not fit the thesis of the other stocks that Roaring Kitties pay attention to. So I don't know I don't think I'll bother dipping my toes into Sirius. I got my holdings that I have, and then I got my play money I use on my options play for the outside chance that I actually win one of these days. And that's what we got, right, Monkey? Now we got.
Oh, it's like a weed jet out of the head.
That's a little guy full of rich people. Keegan Murphy, happy birthday, thumb twiddler. Julius Miami said, Fred Jones said Ken will probably be booted from the case if she loses at the appeals. Yes. And then Julius says, from the case, yeah, but she earned her wings with Trump. Oh yes, she will be the next nominee for Supreme Court. That's all. 20 million subscribers, no kids. Oh, sorry, no videos. What are your thoughts on Ken Griffin being against Vance? I find it interesting because Griffin did donate a boatload to Vance's campaign in Ohio. I don't know if necessarily he's against Vance as a person. I think he thinks it's also just a really dumb pick because he's really divisive. He's got a lot of skeletons in his closet. He basically plagiarized stuff. He lied in his biography. Yeah, I don't know if you know about his biography. Is Hillbilly Elegy, but basically he just made lots of stuff up and pretended like he was this hillbilly when he's a Harvard rich boy. So he's cosplaying, and that's what brought him into the forefront, and then he sold out to Trump on that, and after that. GDC, echoing Low B, thanks for keeping us sane during all this. Well, thank you. Yes. Houston Wade Jr., bulletproof enclosure, a la Pope protection for rallies. I remember going to, in 1996, it was during the 96 campaign, I skipped school with my friends because I was in a photography class, and Clinton came to town for some campaign rally at Pike Place Market. And so we skipped school. We went and to go like see the rally and try to get some pictures for our class and everything. Try to like be a photojournalist for our photography class, and got some pictures of Clinton. But he was behind a bulletproof like Lexan or plexiglass or plutonite or whatever thing, and he gave a speech, and it was see-through. And I remember being there. He was president at the time, so probably security was bigger. I have no idea. But all the buildings around had snipers. There was obvious federal agents across the road. Oh, that's a big boy. Yeah.
About half the road.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, big tree across the road. I'm surprised they didn't take out our internet, because that's the cable there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Miss.
Nice. All right. Like I got to shake his hand. Like, he came through the crowd and where we were, I got to shake his hand, and then he moved on to the next person. But like, he was surrounded. Before I went in, I had to go through a whole security apparatus. I'm sure every person who lived in the apartments around there had Secret Service come to their door and like verify they aren't fucking weirdos. But it does not seem like they did their job very well at all. It's just weird. And yeah, plexiglass. That's seems like a no-brainer to me. Soccer K4. Houston, did you see the 13F from ICANN? 11.9 billion in a secret company. That sounded like that car just ran straight into that tree. Someone was looking at their phone and not the road. Yeah. Interesting. A lot going on out here today. 11.9 billion, a secret company. BBBY Brandon Meadows was 11.8 billion. Interesting, huh? Very. A lot of quinky dinks going on, huh? A lot of quinky dinks. Seems very, very serendipitous, right, Monkey? Serendipitous indeed. Already got 2 minutes left. Jake Geyser, can you post the Investor Bill of Rights PNG PDF? I have I posted it to my Twitter as like I think a JPEG. It's on there. You can probably find it if you just search like Investor Bill of Rights or whatever. And I'll try. I forgot to put one to the subreddit. I'll do that. I'll put one to the subreddit at some point. Lisa Asao, why is Trump still being referred to as president? Thought he was former president. People slip up. Tending Oneness, check out Veto by Heaven Shall Burn yet? I have not. Oh my gosh, I have it on my notes and I still haven't listened to them yet. Problem is that I have times to get done with the show and I have to immediately race off to work. And so it doesn't give me the time to like go through all those little things because of the time of day that I do this. I spend all day reading all the news and reading all the stuff you guys send me, and then I take a shower, I do my show, and I run to work. And I just Heaven shall burn, heaven shall burn, heaven shall burn, heaven shall burn. I shouldn't chant that over and over again. People think I'm weird. But yes, I will listen to them attaining oneness, I promise. I just send me a note with a link, and I'm like, I'll click on it and go, oh yeah, there it is. There we go. Okay. Zebra Cove, TDS to the max. Sure. I love the whenever people say Trump derangement syndrome. Like, you can point out 1,000 terrible things he's done, irrefutable terrible things he's done, with evidence and video evidence and documents he's signed and things he's said. You point out over and over and over again, just time and time again, just what a shitty person he is. And they go, Trump derangement syndrome. No, dude, you got TDS, Trump dick sucking. You seriously cannot get that thing out of your mouth. You love it so much. You love the taste. You love the feel. You love it just filling you up inside. You love how good it makes him feel. Because you have zero ability to look at things from a rational perspective. I know, like, oh, you're not being logical. But really, he's a bad person. He does bad things. He hurts people. Case in point, Epstein files. Case in point, E. Jean Carroll. Case in point, about 100 other sexual assault cases he settled out of court. He cons people. Trump University, Trump Soho, Trump Yards. You know, it's casinos in Atlantic City. Like he signs up. Half the people building his towers elsewhere in the world are straight up Russian mafia. Trump Toronto, Russian mafia. Trump Soho, Russian mafia. Trump Azerbaijan, Russian mafia. The Trump Tower that's being built in Armenia right now, Russian mafia. Like, he does bad shit constantly. And when you point it out, Trump derangement syndrome, just, dude, he sucks. He's a bad person. Quit sucking up to bad people. Be better than that. Be a good person. Try to do good things. Try to support good people. Your life will improve. The lives around you will improve. And, like, just be good. Be good to people. Be good people. Support good people. It's not that hard. It's not that hard, man. Zebra Cove, cognitive dissonance commence. Yeah, yours. You have cognitive dissonance. And then Green Eye Bandit listener, when a dog's making that noise, you plug up one nostril with your finger for a few seconds. It's called reverse sneezing. That'll be interesting. Monkey, next time you make the snort noise, I'll plug a nostril. On that note, I gotta go. Heaven shall burn after work. Heaven shall burn after work. And I'll see you guys later. Oh, how did I get on the live chat? Okay. So, yeah, I'll see you up. I might do a show tomorrow. If the stock price goes bonkers tomorrow, I'll probably be doing a show if it's like looking pretty good. If not, I may use that as an opportunity to finally read all the articles I need to read and watch the videos. So, all right, you guys have a great night. No outro thingy. Click. What are the other outros I have? I don't know. It's butterflies and things are flying around, and we're all gonna make it. All right.